Luxury car companies are constantly producing new models of sports cars and trying their best to outclass rival companies. Here we've ranked some of these new vehicles based on their specifications, new functionality additions, and popularity. Never before has there been such a varied and exotic mix of offerings available within this swollen niche of the performance car market. Each car with its own blend of qualities and mechanical subtleties. In today's video, we will be showing you the most luxurious sports cars. Without further ado, let's begin. Ferrari Roma. The Roma is a new mold of a more affordable Ferrari that feels very much like an old one. The classically beautiful V8-powered front engine 2+2-seater coupe shares its platform with the Portofino, but has looks and handling appeal way beyond the reach of that convertible relation. It is perhaps most alike Maranello's popular 550 Maranello of the late 1990s in spirit, although not technically in every way. A compact, temptingly attainable, daily usable sporting GT, which also ranks highly in our Super GT Top 10, by the way, with the performance, excitement factor, and handling vivacity of a proper Ferrari, but a cabin and character you could really put miles on. Porsche 911 Turbo S. Porsche's brutally fast, incomparably usable, four-wheel drive performance icon is back for the 992 generation, and once again ranks as one of the quickest point-to-point cars on the planet. Four-wheel drive and a new twin-turbocharged engine tuned to 641 brake horsepower contrived to deliver at 2.6 seconds, 0 to 62 miles per hour time, and a top speed comfortably north of 200 miles per hour. And as with other Porsche 911s in the current range, you can also expect a first-class cabin with tangible luxury allure, and a degree of under-the-radar subtlety absent from some of the more extrovert cars on this list. And that's a large part of the appeal of the Turbo S, which is also available in cheaper, slightly less rapacious turbo-badged guise as well. Aston Martin Vantage. Aston Martin took a giant leap into true blue driver's car territory with the new Vantage. Never before had Gaydon departed so clearly from its traditional preference for fairly laid-back, long-legged, old-school, front-engine GT sports cars than it did here. So much about the new Vantage, from its first-order performance level to its tight, tenacious body control, to its impressively advanced driveline specification, and its on-track composure, handling precision, and staying power, tells you loud and clear that it's ready to transform Aston into a firm that can be taken seriously by real petrolheads, people who've stuck to their Porsche GT3s and upper-level BMW M cars, like the BMW M5 thus far. Aston Martin DB11 V8. The Aston Martin DB11 V8 is the bigger brother of the Vantage. The V8 is the entry-level version, and the one that most qualifies the car for consideration as an out-and-out driver's car. And by making the top half of this list, you can take it that it qualifies pretty well. It isn't the most refined car in its class, with tire roar and some rustling of air passing over the base of the A-pillar. The cabin ambience is old-school luxurious, with brogued leather, in abundance if you want it. In some ways, the car's interior isn't as technologically impressive as perhaps it ought to be, nor are all of its fittings quite as materially solid a feel, but it impresses all the same. Honda and SX. Honda has managed to deploy world-first powertrain technology with a superb lightness of touch here. It has used unconventional means to refine and enhance, rather than reinvent, the conventional mid-engine driver's car. And it has produced a very rare breed of exotic as a result, one that doesn't shout about its potential or impose itself on your senses, but is instead a very mature and complete driver's car, and has multifaceted appeal whatever your prevailing speed and journey. Despite updates introduced in 2019, which, along with the bright orange paint job, included detailed chassis tweaks and recalibrations for the adaptive damping, steering, and four-wheel drive, it could still be better equipped, nicer to travel in, and a touch more luridly exciting at times. Audi R8 V10. The Audi R8's technical relation to the company's motorsport efforts is clear. The car is a visceral, singular tribute to power and performance, noise and revs, grip and traction. It's hugely exciting to drive, although not quite as rounded, communicative, or engaging as the very best super sports cars. When we first drove the latest R8, we felt it had lost some of the old car's character, trading it for a more digital form. However, with the introduction of the R8 V10, which, unsurprisingly, drops its front-driven axle, a good helping of that character has been restored. Mercedes-AMG GT-R. With a space-frame underbody structure of a supercar, an engine from a muscle saloon, suspension tuned for maximum attack on the track, and yet the practicality and luxury feel of an elegant coupe or roadster, the GT is an even more bewildering addition to the sports car world than the Mercedes-Benz SLS was. A Falter batch introduced the more hardcore R version of the car in 2017 as its ambitions to make inroads into the market of near-neighbor Porsche's GT car clientele grew. The first version upped power to 577 brake horsepower, which remains where it rests. Chevrolet Corvette C8. For its latest iteration, the Corvette has gone mid-engine. Yes, quite a development. That, but not, as it turns out, something anyone should be having serious misgivings about. For around £75,000 in the UK, the C8 offers a 475 brake horsepower, naturally aspirated V8, an interesting and dramatic cabin, and genuinely well-honed mid-engine dynamics. It's not as precise or feel as the now discontinued McLaren 570S, and doesn't generally have the same poise or accuracy as an Audi R8 or 911 Turbo. But there's meat on the bone here for people who love the engage with the process of driving, and a level of polish many won't be expecting. Nissan GT-R Nismo. It may have been around for more than a decade now, but the Nissan GT-R remains one of the quickest, most capable super sports cars money can buy. The hardcore Nismo version builds on this. There's a more aggressive aero package that includes a sizable rear wing, an increase in torsional rigidity, as well as tweaked springs, dampers, and anti-roll bars for even greater levels of agility. Nissan says these modifications make the GT-R Nismo even more playful on the limit, which can only be a good thing. Its steering is impressively incisive and accurate, while the fact that it seems happier to send its power rearwards in order to bring its tail end into play serves to confirm Nissan's modifications have worked as intended. BMW M8 Competition. It's debatable whether this 130,000 pounds, 616 brake horsepower BMW Super Coupe, which also comes as a convertible or a four-door, as you prefer, really ought to be considered here as a super sports car, or alongside the likes of a Bentley Continental GT as a Super GT. BMW's M Division was certainly seeking to bridge both classes when it bestowed M Division tuning and styling on the M8, as well as a luxurious interior, and a driver-selectable four-wheel drive system whose front drive shafts can be disengaged completely. The M8's size and 2-ton heft both count against it to a certain extent when you consider it as a pure driver's car. So guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.